name is Erin Brophey, and I am the principal oboe of the Saskatoon Symphony Orchestra. I am in my reed studio right now. This is where I make my oboe reeds. Before we get started, I thought I would show you why we make oboe reeds. It kind of speaks for itself, so I'm going to play something very short on a reed that I made. Hopefully that is the sound that you are used to hearing at TCO Place. Now I'm going to play that same piece of music, I assure you it's the same, on this reed that I purchased at a store. That is why we make our own reeds. So this is Oboe Reed cane, otherwise known as Arundus donax. It's basically bamboo, like you would see in bamboo furniture, or the bamboo that makes clothing these days. And it's got a hard outside, and this is how an oboe reed starts. You have to soak it in water. This has been soaking for several hours in water. You can see it's quite shiny and wet. And what I will do is take a splitter, and I'm going to split it into 3. Then I take this piece and I put it on the guillotine. Now this is called a guillotine for good reason. In fact, most of the tools have rather barbaric names. And then I use a planer. See, right now it is a smile, and what I'm going to do is get rid of the corners of the smile. And I'm going to push it through this planer. And then I'm going to put it in this machine called a gouging machine, and what it's going to do is it's going to take the meat out of the reed. And it takes little pieces of cane. There's a blade here, and it is slowly shaving the cane off. End up with lots of little reed shavings. If anyone has a hamster, they should contact me because I have lots and lots of these little pieces. So we've finished gouging the piece of cane, and now I'm going to take it over to this part of my reed making studio. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bend this piece in half. So every double reed, even though it's a double reed, is actually a single piece of cane that has been bent in half. And I'm going to place it on, this is called a shaper tip. So it has the shape of a reed. This is the piece of cane that doesn't. And I'm going to use a extremely sharp razor blade. I get surgical razor blades shipped to me by the thousands. And I'm going to shape this piece into a reed. So now you can see that it is the shape of an oboe reed. And there are these little things on it called ears. And so I'm going to take those ears off. Again, kind of a torturous action here. Now I'm going to take this piece of cane and I'm going to mount it or tie it on to what we call a staple. So this is a staple or a tube, and it's actually the underside of a reed, and it has a metal part and then it's covered in cork, and the cork is the part that goes into the oboe. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this mandrel and put it inside this piece of metal. It's actually quite soft, so if I were to, I could crush this with my fingers, so that's why we put the mandrel inside. And I'm going to mount this onto the tube like this. Now, how do I get that to stay there? That's where the reed thread comes into play. So this is reed thread. It's a double F thread. It's the same thread that's used for making fly fishing lures. And I'm going to tie it onto my C-clamp here. Now I bought this C-clamp when I moved to Saskatoon. So this represents how many reeds I've made since I've lived in Saskatchewan. And I'm going to measure this. Make sure it's the right length. And I'm going to tie this on. There, I have what we call a blank. So that means there's no hole in the middle, and if I were to blow on it, it does not yet make a sound. I'm going to start with my incredibly sharp knives. These knives are like razor sharp. I could shave my arm down if I chose to. And I spend a lot of time sharpening knives. What I'm going to do is a series of motions to remove the outside bark from the reed. Now there's actually a structure to the reed that I'm looking for, and essentially I'm kind of carving the reed. That's one of the things I love about reed making, is that I am sculpting a sound with my hands, which is, to me, a really beautiful way to spend some time. So this is a cutting block. It's now thin enough that I'm going to clip it open, which is essentially going to make this now a double reed. So I put it on the cutting block and I clip it open here. And now there's a hole in it. I'm going to place this plaque between the blades. This plaque means that I can work on one blade or the other without the knife touching both blades at the same time. And I'm going to continue to thin the reed. Let's see if I can make a vibration. So what I'm doing there is I'm placing the reed between my lips and I'm blowing freely. And I'm seeing if there's a vibration. We call that crowing for good reason. And this giving me information about how the reed's working. Now I'm going to crow the reed again to see where it is sitting pitch-wise. And I have this tuner, which is telling me how flat or sharp it is. One of the reasons why oboes tune the orchestra is that we're responsible for maintaining the pitch. So we're going for a certain pitch. And I take that very seriously. I'm always trying to have the most in tune reed I can. And one of the ways I can do that is by making it by hand. So now I have the beginnings of a reed. This is what I call a day one reed. It usually takes me about 3 days to finish it. I go through playing on it and refining how it sounds, but I'll show you what this one sounds like. So this reed works. That's excellent. And then I would spend 3 more days refining how it sounds. Thank you so much for joining me. Take care.